War. War never changes. This is perhaps the most apt way of describing every Call of Duty multiplayer mode since the original Modern Warfare, released in 2007. That's 8 years of graphical upgrades and minor tweaks to the adrenaline-soaked online FPS phenomenon. But at its core, it has become stale and stagnated, with the mass hysteria surrounding the release of each subsequent iteration becoming less of a bellow from the rooftops and more of a brief mention at the water cooler. I'm Tom for Techolution, and today we're going to be looking at the Black Ops 3 beta and see if this will be enough to breathe some much needed life into the series. So before we jump into a match, I just wanted to point out this is the first time I actually play Black Ops 3 and Call of Duty in a while, so please forgive the poor performance. Now we're just going to take a quick look at the specialists in the menu here, and as you can see there are 4 unique specialists, all with their distinct abilities that you can unlock when you first start the beta, and with subsequent unlock tokens you can see in the top right hand corner. It's very interesting. It's like a MOBA style character selection, which is an interesting addition to the series we'll explore a little bit later in the gameplay footage itself. And then we'll go into the create a class menu as well. I'll just take a quick look through the menus here at the guns that you have available to you while you're playing. One thing I wanted to point out from the get-go is they actually do feel distinctly different. An SMG feels like an SMG, and an assault rifle feels like an assault rifle, which in previous Call of Duty games actually didn't kind of come across that way. It's very standard though. You get your character weapons, your different classes, your optics you can attach to things, your pistols, launcher specials, so it's nothing too wild and radical there, but you don't start off with a lot unlocked. It gives you incentive to play a bit more of the beta. And now I thought we'd take a quick look at the score streaks just before we jump into a match. Now these are a staple of the Call of Duty world, where you have your UAVs, your care packages, and your kind of missile barrages. There are also some really neat additions from the sort of robotic style world. We'll see some of those in action later on in the gameplay, but it just seems there's some things that the Call of Duty series can't let go of. Would it be better without it? Who knows? And we're just going to go ahead and jump into a quick match here. And this is something that actually gave me the real Call of Duty vibe, the standard sort of pre-match menu where you have all the people on the right hand side. Everyone's always much higher level than I am, which is no surprise. There's also the little voting screen in the bottom left hand corner with your character that you've selected looking really mean and burly in the middle. Now some people have done some really in-depth research on why they chose the specialist they did at the start to unlock the first ability, but let's be honest, this guy looked like he had a railgun on him, and I absolutely love railguns in video games, so I figured I'd go for that. But there are many other selections that are viable. So just having a look at some of the guns in the menus here in a bit more detail and the sights that you can get. So I'm always an assault rifle guy, so just having a look at the different scopes that are available. They even give you a very mean looking rocket launcher at the start, but I'm always anti-personnel as opposed to anti-vehicle, which I'm going to come to regret later on in this footage, I'm sure. So the teams have decided. Looks like we are outnumbering them by far. The match is about to load up, so let's take a look at the loading screen when it comes up. So for any of you that play League of Legends, Dota, Heroes of the Storm, any of those kind of MOBAs, you're going to hear me using that a lot, by the way, the word MOBA. You can see that these characters have certain build names attached to them, and they're kind of facing off each other, like in the character select screen. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting touch, I felt, and kind of highlights the kind of feel they're going for, where you have very distinct characters that play in distinct ways. So the match is just about to begin, and as you can see, I'm using the standard assault rifle, the CUDA Auto, I think it's called. You saw the slide I just managed to do there, just testing out some of the new mobility options. As you can see, you've got jetpacks just like in Advanced Warfare. You can see the kill streaks on the right hand side loaded up. And if you have a look around my character ability, the circle in the bottom right hand corner with the railgun looking thing. It's not a railgun, by the way. I thought it was, but it wasn't. You can see that over time it charges very slowly. And when that circle's complete, it unlocks your ability to use that ultimate. Now, as you can see, you can run along walls, use jetpacks, and then run along walls again. That's actually pretty cool. But the mobility option is really useful. I watched another guy's video and actually saw him do a free run melee attack. So he ran along the wall there, the one I just ran from, dived down and managed to melee a guy. It looks very cool. It's one of those very easy to learn, hard to master sort of mobility options that Advanced Warfare tried to emulate, but just wasn't able to. And as you can see, I'm dying a lot in this game, and that was one of the faults I actually found with the beta. One of the only real faults, to be honest, is that, quite like Call of Duty titles, if you're first to be seen, then normally you're first to die. So if you manage to get someone in your crosshairs, chances are that they are going to die. So like that, for example, I came around the corner, she didn't realise I was there, and I was able to kill that player straight away like that, and like that. you know, I managed to kill 2 people there. I think there was an assist and a kill. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, your weapons still level up, and it's a lot more prominent this time round. So your weapon actually has a level attached to it, and the more things you unlock on it, the more optics, the more attachments you can get. And I mean, I know that's like Call of Duty, but the fact it actually comes up in such a cool way, shows you a picture of your gun with the level underneath. I thought that was a nice little touch. You saw me glowing red there, and now I believe that is that Huntress's ability. I'm going to call her a Huntress. I don't know what her real name is. And that actually highlights you in red, so that I think she can see through walls. Now, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that seems to be the impression I've got from what I've watched and from the games that I've played within the Black Ops 3 beta. If you can see, there's a little drone-looking thing I'm just running away from now, which isn't very helpful. Just see me die there in a very, very comical way. But the maps, let's talk about the maps a little bit. So, as you can see, the maps are kind of like medium to small size. I think that's probably for the beta. But I've been in games that stem from 6 people on a team to 3 people on each team. And right, so my Tempest is ready. Let's go back to the Tempest for a second. So I didn't get to use it that time. So if you die when your Tempest is lit, then you lose it, which is a bit of a shame. But you'll see me actually use the gun in a little bit later's footage. Now, I got a grenade kill there, which is something that never actually happened to me before. The grenades in the game feel very satisfying. You normally start off with your standard fragment grenade, and you also have a flashbang / stun, depending on what you choose in your loadout. You do unlock more grenades, which you can attach, but once again, they're pretty standard for Call of Duty, so it's nothing really new there. And as I say, so the maps, they are medium to small size, which allow for really tight gameplay you can actually learn. What I actually noticed as well about them was the verticality that they allow for in the gameplay. So the maps have various different sort of heights on them, a lot of platforms for you to kind of explore and use your new movement abilities that they've given us. And I mean, that's really, really cool. It's good to see that they're trying to entice players into using the new sort of rule sets they put in play to try and change up the gameplay slightly. Does it really? No, it just gives you more places to look with your crosshair. Makes for a bit more challenge. But yeah, it's pretty decent overall. Now, as you saw there, I just got killed by, I'm going to call her the Huntress. I have said that before. I really should know her name, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. She used her explosive arrow, which is her sort of ultimate ability on me. And it's sort of an explosive arrow that pins you to a wall and blows you up. So it's a pretty cool effect, actually. I mean, once again, that was what I was talking about there. You see the sheer amount of medals that come on the screen every time you kill someone. That's very kind of bro-shootery, very Call of Duty. So that hasn't changed. They need to keep some familiarity there for obvious reasons, because if you've got a good formula that works and sells you millions of copies, then why not? But I don't mind. It just comes across, as I say, very bro-shooter. Now, that there is actually someone that used the Tempest on me. So the Tempest is a sort of railgun-looking item that fires like ball lightning at the ground or at a player, and then electrifies the area, and it's like an instant kill if you touch it. So my Tempest is now ready, and I think this is the point where I actually get to use it on someone. No, it isn't. That's the point in which I got blown up and where the match was over. Okay, now what I want to do is just quickly go ahead and show you some cool bits that I've cut together from the next match. So it's on the map called Evac on Team Deathmatch, and I just want to show you what the Tempest looks like when it's being used and some other really cool points that emphasise how Call of Duty is changing up their online formula. So to be honest, the only real change they've made here are these new ultimates, and you can see the Tempest being used here. It's fully charged and I've got it out. Now, I shot someone, that's an instant kill. There's a slight half-second delay, I'd say. You see it electrified the floor and it actually took out 2 people. So it's kind of a mini kill streak that it charges up over time rather than needing points, but still requires a bit of skill to use as opposed to most of the other kill streaks. Now, I always thought that was pretty cool, and you do have this need to grind for kills to charge your meter a bit quicker, just like in a MOBA, where you have your cooldown and you need to let it charge until you can unleash that ability. And it's about strategic placement, so when do you need to use that ability? How can it complement your teammates' abilities? I know normally there's that kind of lone wolf sense in Call of Duty itself, but some of the ultimates of these specialists, even just now in the beta, complement each other quite well. So I can imagine if you're in a team playing with a few mates, you can make some really cool setups and traps, strategies, plays to really maximise the utility of these abilities. There's actually 2 ways of looking at this. You can look at it in that it's a way of genuinely trying to sort of foster this sense of teamwork and add a new element to Call of Duty. Or you could see it another way, which is that it's just, as I've said before, another type of kill streak they've attached to your character to try and get this disingenuous sense of teamwork in there, that they are adding something new, they are trying to change it up. Now I'll leave it up to you to decide what you think, but personally I could see it going quite well and it being used to foster this teamwork element, but I'm not too sure. It depends on the player, but Call of Duty has always been a social experience. If you're someone like me that does play it with friends, then chances are you will maximise the use of these new sort of ultimate abilities. Now let's quickly talk about the other specialists that are available. So I'm playing as the guy with the Tempest at the moment. Once again, I should know their names. I'm really sorry. I cannot remember off the top of my head. I haven't played enough yet. But they seem to move and play the same as the other specialists available. There isn't really anything different about them apart from these ultimate abilities. Now, I'm not aware that they're going to be doing anything like specific unlocks other than these abilities or these weapons, such as the Tempest or the bow on the Huntress's Star 1. Now, I'd say this is kind of a little bit disappointing because you've got games coming out like Overwatch and other sort of Team Fortress 2 based games where you have distinctive characters that you play in very distinctively different ways, and other than just these abilities. So it's going to be interesting to see how it fares and the comparisons that are drawn between Overwatch and Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Okay, let's round it off now, shall we? So overall, do I think that Black Ops 3 is the game, the title, the genre-defining, genre-morphing, changing title that the Call of Duty series needs? Not in particular, no. I mean, I think it's definitely going to attract a lot of new people. They've been doing some great marketing around how they're changing the zombies mode up. You know, they've been showing with this beta, look, we're confident about our product, willing to put this out and give 3 keys away to everyone that pre-orders the game to give to your friends, show how much of a difference we're making. So I think it's going to attract a lot more people back that may not have bought Advanced Warfare or Ghosts. But is it actually that much of a change? Fundamentally, no. I mean, you've got these new characters with their abilities that we've explored here, and you've got the new kind of cool maps, the verticality options, the kind of way of clambering around the maps too. They've given you new motion options. But at its core, it's still Call of Duty. It's still a modern warfare game. It's still stuck 8 years into the past. And it's kind of a bit of a shame. I mean, I'm probably not gonna buy it. I'm gonna be honest here and put that out there. I've loved playing the beta. I'm definitely gonna go back and play some more, but it's just not good enough for me to decide to put down, £40 when I can just crack the case open on, Advanced Warfare or Ghosts or any of the other Call of Duty games that have come out in the last 7 years. I'm always a fan of saying, get out there, try it yourself. If you're lucky enough to get a beta key, or you know some friends that pre-ordered the game, they have 2 spare, or you know anywhere where you can redeem one, definitely get out there, give it a go, see what you think. Maybe the changes they've made that I've shown you and some that I haven't been able to show you, maybe that's enough to draw you back. But for me personally, apart from the single player campaign, there isn't much for me there at Call of Duty land. Thank you for listening to my endless rambling and looking at the terrible gameplay I put out there of me being killed repeatedly over and over again. But I just wanted to get this gameplay out while it was fresh, while I still had the impressions at the top of my mind of how I felt about the game. Now I'm going to be going in and I'm going to be experiencing some more matches, playing about with a few different specialists, and I'll be live tweeting that out. So, if you haven't already, please go on Twitter and follow us at Techolution. Go on Facebook and go on /Techolution. And if you haven't already, please comment, like, subscribe, anything you want to do, any one of the 3, just purely because it gives us a big hand and it means that you get to see some of the new content that we're going to be putting out there for you guys. So once again, thank you for listening to this video. I really hope you enjoy Black Ops 3, and I was Tom with Techolution, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.